What is up, Watch fam, and welcome to Rant&h. I am Christian from Theo and Harris, and before we jump into today's episode, we'll do a quick wristwatch check. I am wearing my vintage Rolex 1601 reference. These are some of my absolute favorite watches. I'm a 1601, 1603, 16, all those Datejust reference. I'm an addict. I think they're just the most beautifully versatile and prestigious watches out there. So it really does explain why we do stock so many of these watches in the shop at theoandharris.com. Which, while we're on that note, we are uploading 6 new watches to the shop tomorrow, Tuesday. So be sure to check out theoandharris.com tomorrow morning. Now let's get into today's episode. Today we're going to be doing a collection review of a watch geek named Clarence. So Clarence, here I am. I'm reviewing your collection. The last 2 we've done have been kind of, very hot horology. Not that Clarence's collection is not. Clarence has a wonderful collection, but we're talking big numbers. And today I think we're going to give you guys a glimpse into a little bit more of a normal collecting, world that I think is a little bit more relatable to me and many of our viewers. So let's do it. Clarence has 3 watches. He's got a vintage 65 Speedmaster with straight lugs. He's got a vintage Datejust 1603 wide boy. And he has a Grand Seiko. So let's get into the first one, and then we'll kind of continue. To talk about your Speedy first, I think that's a great example. I think it's super cool that you didn't get the twisted lugs example. That to me is just kind of fun. It's a little bit more obscure. It almost seems more like an inherited piece than it does a piece you went out and bought. Not because I don't like it. That doesn't have no correlation there. Just because it's just not the one that everyone goes and buys. So I do definitely respect that. I don't have all that much to say about it. I think that a Speedy is a wonderful watch, especially for small collections, because they do achieve a vintage, but in a very modern, large, robust way that many old vintage chronographs don't have. They're a little bit more delicate. So I love the Speedy. I like the strap you have on it too. So I'm not going to go too much into that watch. I think you made a wonderful decision buying and owning that watch. Next, we'll go into the Rolex Datejust 1603, which I think is a fantastic watch. For those of you who don't know, the 1603 is the 1601, but with a engine-turned steel bezel, not the white gold fluted, which is really great. I think it's beautiful. I mean, it's a very simple, straightforward, to-the-point watch. You have a wide boy dial and matching hands, which is rare. Most people who have wide boys just have the dial and don't have the hands. If you guys don't know what the wide boy is, Anna, please put a photo of a wide boy next to a stick dial. You can see the difference right in the markers. The wide boys are fat and the sticks are very thin. But wide boys, to be complete, need to have the dial and the hands matching in that same fat style. So I'm glad that you have that, and many people don't. So very good job. He has it in the original Jubilee too, which to me I don't think I would have, but it's good to own. I mean, no doubt you can't you're not going to miss anything by owning it. So I think that is cool. If I were you, I would have a lot of fun with straps with that watch. To me, it's something that you can buy once a year, invest anywhere from $100 to $300, calf to exotic. Have fun with that Datejust. You have a terrific Datejust. Have fun with it. Buy an electric blue croc, or buy a dark blue, or buy a green ostrich, and they're not daily wearers. You should change the straps out, but these watches are very easy to just swap out with straps. So to me, that just adds to how versatile they are. They give you this opportunity to just say, you know what, today I'm feeling purple, and I bought a $100 purple calf strap, and it's just fun. So not that you would necessarily wear a purple strap, but you see my point. Your vintage Grand Seiko is terrific. I mean, there's just no question in my mind. To me, vintage Omega dress watches are some of the best value out there in the world, but I love that you went for an alternative Seiko. Do I recommend it for everybody? I don't, just because they are a little bit harder to upkeep. I don't know if you had to service that yet, but it does get a little bit more difficult for watchmakers. But I love the Dauphine hands. I love the case. I love, by the way, how Seiko to this day just respects their past so fucking much. And to me, that is just a really beautiful piece. Once again, I will tell you to have a little bit more fun with straps. Maybe try chocolate. Maybe try a deep red. If you're a little bit more conservative, try these deep colors, but explore a little bit and have some fun. Now, you asked me about your, moving forward with your collection, what should you buy? You threw out an IWC Portuguese chronograph, as well as Gilles Lecoultre Tribute to 1931 Reverso. I like both watches. I'm not crazy about the Portugueser. It's just not my style. I think that it's very large. To me, the bezel to dial ratio is just off. They're great, they're great looking watches. They're good watches. I know a lot of people that I respect, that I like their style and their taste in watches, that own that watch. So by no means am I making like a rule in here, like don't buy that watch. And if it's very comfortable on your wrist, like you mentioned, then maybe it's something to consider. I personally do think that the Reverso is just a piece of art. I just think it's a more refined and just more beautiful, less obvious watch. Not that the IWC is, is a total layup, but it just has a lot less going on. I love what Jaeger-LeCoultre did with the tribute to 1931. Not just the dials, but the cases. The way they kind of reshape those is just beautiful. If you are considering that watch, I will tell you, I'm going to ask you, how big is your wrist? Because you have to watch out with those watches because they have these long lugs and the straps kind of come out. And if you have a small wrist, kind of like I do, that watch is not going to work for you. And I would be very, very careful because it just comes out just far, far too large. So if your Datejust is on the bigger side like mine is, then be careful with the Reverso. But I want to give you one other possible option or suggestion here. Obviously, you want to stay modern. Obviously, you want to stay refined. Your whole collection is very refined. There's nothing bombastic about it. I mean, the Speedmaster is probably the biggest and boldest of them all, and that's obviously still a very classic and reserved watch. I think that going with the Nomos World Timer, the Zurich, in blue particularly, because it's a little bit more muted than the white, it's a little bit large, to me would be a great option. It has that refinement. It has this just air about it. The finishing is beautiful. The automatic movement, and you look at it, I mean, it's just a work of art. But I think that this is a complication that would really fit well in your collection. You have a chronograph and 2 time onlys, so I wouldn't go with another chronograph per se. I mean, I also maybe wouldn't go with another time only. I like the world time, although it's technically not a true world timer. I think it's technically like a dual timer, like a GMT, but still it's the world time Nomos. To me, it's just so interesting, and when I look at a collection and I see that's interesting. I'm not always the biggest fan of a certain collection. It's not always the collection that I would own, but I look at it and I just say like, wow, I want to think about what they did here. That to me is what I love the most. I hate obvious choices, and I think that the world timer there, not that you need to check a bunch of boxes. I don't feel that. If it was a box checking thing, I'd tell you to get a SKX because the way that you're positioned. But I think that to keep within your style, within your obviously classic style, going a little bit more modern, going with a brand that packs so much punch to a price point, and it's staying within that price point that you were looking at. Seriously, that $6,000 range, even less if you buy one pre-owned. To me, it's a wonderful, wonderful option. So please take a look. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to even seriously consider it. But do me a favor. I did you the favor by the video. Do me a favor. Try on the watch. Check out a boutique. I don't know where near you. I don't know where you're from. But check out a boutique. Try it on. It's not a small watch, but I think it's smaller than the Portugueser. So give it a shot. It really is a beautiful, beautiful piece. And that's it. Buddy, congratulations on your collection. I really do appreciate it. I think you have beautiful taste, and I really can't wait to see where you take this in the future. Please keep me updated on it. If any of you guys out there, you watch geeks watching, have any interest in me reviewing or giving you some suggestions for your collection, please email me at info@theoandharris.com with the photos of your watches and some brief explanations, and I'll do my best to get to them. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Rant&h. And don't forget to check out the watch shop at theoandharris.com tomorrow.